Firstly, thanks for coming and speaking to me today. For the viewers and listeners, we've got Peter Gunn, actor, known mostly, I'd say now as Brian from Coronation Street, the much loved actor. What's it like acting in Corrie?
I'll tell you something, I've been around a bit. I've done all sorts of things, different things, films, tellies, radios. And when I got the call to go to Corrie, I was like, oh, fantastic. Yeah, I've always loved it. I always watched it. I got there and it's the first job in, 30 odd years I've been doing it. I was really nervous because it's iconic. The minute you walk on those cobbles, the minute you meet Ken, the minute you meet Rita, they're like, wow. I was in awe of it. But the people at ITV are so friendly, and it becomes a family, and I love working there now. I absolutely adore it.
So the nerves never go?
They don't really, because even like yesterday, I was in work, and I'm stood in the cabin. I'm looking at the suites in the cabin. I'm looking at the Weatherfield Gazette, thinking, oh, flipping heck, here I am, stood where however many of other actors have stood, and even the Rovers. Always get a little nervous in the Rovers, always. I don't know what it is, but I love it.
For the sake of anyone that doesn't know what sort of character you are, how would you describe Brian?
Well, I came in. The character came into the street. It was the storyline of John Stape, who was a teacher, and I was another teacher who worked with him. And I might have exposed who he was or wasn't, because I knew him as a different name. And then I came in properly as the head of Bessie Street School. And so the character was I was a head teacher, so therefore I was more like Ken, or that sort of character you'd go to for information. And then I moved away from that and became got the cabin, and so now I'm more of I don't know how to describe him. He's sort of quite a traditional, old-fashioned character in the street. There's not a nasty side to him. There's not there's a bit of a buffoon, a bit of an idiot. People think he's just an interfering old fool, but it's like somebody of me anywhere, really. He's a normal character, I think.
Yeah, I'd say you have your sort of comical side though as well. My partner's a big fan of Corrie, and when I told them I'm speaking to Brian from Corrie, she were like, "Oh my god!" So what's been your sort of favourite storyline since joining the soap?
For the character,
yeah, for you.
I think for me, for the character, the minute I got the script and it said that we buy the cabin, it was like, what? We buy the cabin? Because that has been Rita's home, that has been Norris's home for decades, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And the fact that I'm in the cabin, for me as an actor as well, I think it means you have a set, which means it's really important. You know what I mean? I don't know, because before then you're itinerant. You could either be in the Rovers or Roy's having a cup of tea or a pint, but being in your set in the cabin, it means so much. And for the character, I think it really roots it. I think, and I love working in there because you become the storyline of other people in a way, because they come in and say something, and I sometimes don't know what is going on. You're just there as a conduit for a storyline, and I love that, rather than it being a main storyline for you as a character. Because sometimes those storylines, especially in something like the soap, they're set off in a storyline happens, and then it suddenly dissolves and goes nowhere because other storylines and other characters take over. So I'm quite happy being in the cabin, being just steady.
And on the sort of flip side of that, what's been your favourite storyline since you've joined as well, but as sort of looking on at your co-stars?
Oh, I see. Yeah, I really enjoyed Phelan, who was the villain, Pat Phelan. I thought what he was doing was great, and you'd get stopped in the street by. I remember being in Asda in Blackburn, and I'd come out, we'd be shopping, and gone to my car, and this little old dear was sat in a car waiting for her husband next to mine. She got out and started talking to me like I'm the character in the street, and started telling me that I've got to tell that Phelan that he's got to lay off Eileen, and then that she would sort him out. And I had to, and she wasn't being daft or anything. She was being serious that she would sort him out. And I love that because people believe it, don't they? Yeah. I know they know it's, because somebody said to me, they said, I know you're an actor, but are you a teacher? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in town, I remember once I was having a coffee and the girl behind the counter at the Exchange, she said, you know, I've gone in for coffees loads of times. They know I'm an actor, I've done different things. But she then started talking to me about a son who was at school. This is when I was the teacher character. And he was having trouble with his homework. And could I help as a teacher? And I was saying, I'm not a teacher. I don't know. You know, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely a weird one. I mean, I've been, we watch a lot of soaps and it's, you know, you feel like you're in it sometimes.
You do, yeah.
What's it like? Sorry, go on.
Go on. Well, because I watch it, I watch the soap, I watch Corrie, but I try and watch it as a punter, not as an actor. Because to begin with, you start looking, and I hate looking at myself, I hate watching what I'm doing, but I've managed to get over it, and I start watching it you're involved with it. You do get involved with it.
Yeah.
You do, don't you?
Yeah. Definitely.
I don't know what it is about it, but
no,
I think it's an escapism for people, though, isn't it? It's like football, I suppose. I'm not a big football fan. I'm not, my boy is, and he loves that. The process of going to see the game, he loves getting lost in that. You know what I mean. It takes you out of whatever's going on around.
It's crazy though as well because I mean, obviously, I don't have the perspective you have, but you sort of grow to love certain characters more, maybe
yes, you do.
More than others. And I mean, a bit of a weird one for us is my partner's been watching Corrie for years, and I started watching it properly when the Gary Windass story with Rick. And since then, Gary's been my favourite character. I don't know why, but it's just
that
like he's in. But then she's like, watch these old episodes, and that's not like that Gary, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. For you though,
I love that.
You mentioned that sort of side that you watch it as a punter as well.
Yeah.
Is it sort of when you go back on set? Is it just a little bit strange to then switch back?
Yeah, well, we joke around calling each other by our character names, which makes it even worse. So, Jimmy, who plays Dev, we call him Dev, and Gary as well, Mikey North, who plays Gary, we jokingly call him Chesney.
Yeah.
What I mean?
I can see why.
So, you know what I mean? But there's a group of us who do that, but you don't do it with Bill, who plays Ken. Because he's the godfather, and he's brilliant. He's fantastic. He is, yeah. And he's so nice with people who are coming in. He'll say, "Oh, I'm Bill. If you need anything, this, that, and the other." You'd be amazed what he's like at 80. God, how old is he? 89 or something.
It was,
he's there.
It was weird because it's like Corrie's, one of the, he's been on there for ages, and over 60 lockdown.
Years.
Yeah, over lockdown, they had a rerun of like the first ever episode, and we were watching it there. And my partner's there, we're like, "This is this person, this is this person," and then she went, "And that's Ken Barlow," and I went, "What?" And we're just like,
"I know,
it's crazy." But yeah,
you can't believe it, can you? 60 years.
You mentioned about going to the cobbles and how iconic it is, but seeing sort of Ken Barlow, sort of the orgy of Coronation Street.
Yeah, I know.
Was it a case of being sort of starstruck? What were your first conversation with him like?
Well, actually, my first day ever on Corrie, you go to the studio and you walk in. There's like a corridor, and there's a board that's quite important. That's got the schedule on it for the next week or 2 weeks. And I was a bit bamboozled, thinking, right, I've got to look at this, be aware of it. And to the right is what they call the green room, where everybody sits. And there was 2 circular windows in those doors you could see in. And I could see Annie Kirkbride, who plays Deirdre.
Yeah.
And she sat on a settee. Yeah, I'd seen her in the window. I through the window, and she was there in a bra and skirt, and I was like mortified. But she went, and as I went in, everyone was laughing the socks off because they knew, you know, I'm new, and she'd gone, and they were just laughing their heads off, saying she's like that normally. I didn't believe them or anything like that, but she was like that. She would literally talk to anyone in a bra and skirt. She used to do this as well. She was fantastic. We'd be sat in the Rovers, and it can take forever filming sometimes. So we're sat there in a booth at a table, and we're just chatting away. And she'd say, "I'm just going under the table." I was like, "What?" She would literally go under the table and just sit under the table. I don't know why. And you carry on a conversation, blah blah blah. You have for tea and all that, and then she'd get back. Oh, that were better. As if she was fantastic. She was just crazy but lovable. But and everyone's normal, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something I don't think many people know at all. Are you like your on-screen character at all? Do you have any sort of similarities?
I suppose we look very similar. We sweat in the same way. There's some similarities in a way. It's difficult because Corrie's a very what's the word? I think it's more of an exaggerated way of behaving. And yeah, he wouldn't. It's the reality of that street. There isn't a street like it that you would have dead bodies under most pavements, garages. People get married 7 times.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there are similarities, I suppose, in a way. But I suppose one of the similarities, funny enough, is you get on with other characters. They get on with Roy, and I've known David, who plays Roy. I've known him for 30 odd years, and we got on great. So that's a real similarity.
Yeah.
And we've been on tour together to Canada for Corrie, going round theatres. We had a great time.
What's it like being involved in just any big storyline that's going on? I mean, I think most recently there was the sort of who attacked Adam Barlow. Do you guys know who's done it, or do you have to wait?
No, well, no. You actually, this is a case in point. Yesterday, I'm working in the cabin, and I won't say who. A character comes in, and then a policeman comes in. I'm like, oh right, there's a policeman coming. Now I've got to do what I've got to do in the scene, which was basically get a laptop and try and find some information, which was nothing. I didn't know why I was finding this information, but it directly relates to the person who's in the shop talking to the policeman, and that I was like, oh God, what? And I had to say, right, tell me what's going on. And then when I found out, I was like, oh my God. Okay. So, but you don't know because you only get your script.
Right.
So if there's 60 scripts and you're in 10, you'll just get those 10.
Wow.
You won't know what's happening in the other bits. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You can read the script and find out what's happening in the script, in that particular script.
Yeah.
That one episode, but it won't solve any questions that you're thinking, well, why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Because it's very difficult to work it out sometimes. I think you're saying something for a reason. You don't know what the reason is.
Yeah. I think that makes it sort of more interesting in a way. I think especially for you, because you said, you're a bit of a fan as well as an actor on the show. So I bet for you, it's just like, I bet it's frustrating a little bit.
It sort of was. But yesterday when I found out this bit, I was like, oh, no, you can't. That hasn't happened. And you think, oh, flipping it, yeah.
Are we telling them?
You can't be telling anything because I've not given anything away, have I?
No.
I've not said who was in the cabin.
No, I think what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to tell my partner, so something big's happening. Brian's told me something big's happening. She'll be there keen every night now. 7:30 she'll be there. We'll be like, she'll be loving it.
Yeah, going, ooh, you want to watch this?
She'll be like, that's it. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
In terms of just acting in general, you know, as I've said, you've acted in as you said, you've acted in a lot of other things than just Corrie. But what's it? You know, what were the reason for you getting into acting? Has it always been what you wanted to do?
No, it was. I got to the age. I was 17, 18. I'm from St Anne's.
Yeah.
I was born there. My dad worked for electrical wholesalers in Blackpool,
right.
Selling, light bulbs, and there was no history of it in the family. And I can remember I was I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I was working one place, I worked somewhere else, and I met someone else who said, "Oh, you want to do drama at the college?" I was like, "Drama at the college? What are you on about?" "Yeah, you'd love it." And I told my mum, just on a conversation, "Right, come on." And off we went. She enrolled me at the college to do drama. So, and I loved it. I don't know what it was about it. I adored it. And I did a couple of years doing A-levels, more qualifications at college. And then it was, what do I do now? Well, apply for drama schools. So I had enough money saved up for 3. My last 10 quid was RADA, the Royal Academy.
Yeah.
So I thought I may as well try for that. And I got in. Unbelievably. I couldn't believe it. And in those days, in 1983, you got a grant from the Lancashire County Council.
Wow.
I know. And I went to Preston Town Hall, council offices, and the fellow who was in charge of giving out the grant, it was his decision. He was in charge of parks.
Right.
That was his job. But this other side, he had this other responsibility because they were called discretionary grants. They weren't automatic.
Yeah.
He said, "Right, you want to go to drama school, do you?" I went, "Yeah, I do, yeah." "Right, okay." And he pulled a leaflet off this shelf in his office, and it was the opening and closing times of parks in Preston. And he said, "Right, read that out loud." So I read out Avonham Park closed, all that.
Yeah.
He said, "Right, very good. Where are you thinking of going?" And I said, "Well, I've got in at, I think Birmingham I got in at." And he went, "No." And I hadn't done my RADA audition by then. He said, and I said, "I've got RADA coming up." He said, "Right, if you get in there, we'll give you the money." So
Pressure's on.
I got in, but they covered my fees and they covered my living expenses for 2.5 years.
Brilliant.
Couldn't have done it now.
No.
That wouldn't have happened.
That's brilliant.
So, it's amazing. And I was there with Ray Fiennes, those sort of people. Yeah. They were there. I was in the same class. Jane Horrocks, we were all together.
Wow. Obviously since then you've been in loads of stuff. What's been your sort of, I mean, it'd be hard to pinpoint a favourite, but what's been some of the best things you've been in since then?
I think for me, as an experience, it was doing Hannah Montana the movie in America. Because it was such a, well, to begin with, again, I didn't have a clue who she was. My boys at the time, I got 2 boys, and one of them said, "Oh, I think I've seen her on a lunch bag at school, on a lunch pack."
Yeah.
Lunch pack? What are you on about? So we were, where are we? Oh, we've gone to Legoland. And there was a Disney store nearby, and I said to Julie, my wife, "You go in and just ask about this Hannah, whatever, Montana. I've not heard of her."
Yeah.
So she went in and she said, "Can you tell me about Hannah Montana?" The girl didn't say anything. She stood aside and revealed the whole shop was full of Hannah Montana. I was like, "Oh, God, this is massive." And again, that's a good story of how I got that, but it's too long to tell now. But everyone was saying, "You're not going to get it. You won't get this job. If you get it, you won't get a visa." Blah blah blah. I got it. I got the visa, and I was out there having the time of my life. And they flew out the 2 boys and Julie, my wife,
wow,
for 2 months. It was just first
Brilliant.
class. All it was just incredible.
Was that when when Miley Cyrus was doing it? Was she the yeah? What was it like working with her?
She amazing. She was 15 at the time.
Yeah.
And of course, when I got the job, I started reading about her and hearing about her. And then I found out as well, reading the press, that she was the highest paid teenager in history. She was on 250 million quid a year.
Wow.
Dollars.
Yeah.
If she was the first teenager to earn $1 billion. So my expectations of her was like, oh my, what's she going to be like? But she was like, she was literally just like Girl Next Door. She was as straightforward and as nice as all that. She was fantastic, hardworking. She would do, right, we were working 5 days a week. We didn't work weekends. She would be working every day, all day. On a Friday, there'd be a private plane. We were working in Nashville. Private plane. She'd fly to a stadium, do stadium shows out the weekend, fly back to Nashville. Monday morning, 7 o'clock, she'd be bright as a button there. Everything learned.
Wow.
And because she had to sing in the film,
Yeah.
in the movie, there was a click track for her, which is basically when you have a click track, you can mime.
Yeah.
Right, because you have to repeat. You have to do the song for filming purposes. You have to repeat over and over again.
Yeah.
So they said, we've got the click track. She went, no, I don't need one. And she sang every song over and over again all morning. No problem at all. And she could sing. We used to just sit and watch if you were even in the scene.
Yeah.
You would just watch her. She was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
No surprise to you then that she's got where she is now then.
Correct. And also, I think she could have gone off the rails hugely, and she hasn't.
Yeah.
You know, she's done a few questionable things, but she hasn't. As somebody who's earned £1 billion and as the world, and don't forget this as well, as a teenager, those 5 years on Hannah Montana, she didn't have any time off.
Wow.
We were working May, June of 2007, and she didn't have a day off till the April of 2008. That's a 15-year-old.
Wow.
That's a 15-year-old.
That's mental. That is incredible. But it's not. Yeah, she's amazing at what she does.
She could have gone like what's the other one? Britney.
Yeah.
Completely off the rails. She was a Disney kid, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. In terms of sort of, you know, you mentioned there you've been in films as well. Obviously, Hannah Montana's up there by the sounds of it for you. What's what would you say? You know, you prefer out of the two, but if you don't prefer either, what's the biggest differences?
Well, it's about scale, basically. You see that what you've got there, with Hannah Montana and with Corrie, you've got two ends of the same scale. Corrie, at work, you would film on an episode 20, 30 pages a day, right?
Yeah.
Film, you would, on a good day, film 3 pages a day.
Right.
So that tells you the scale.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's only three pages a day on Hannah Montana was because it's enormous. The crew, the setups, all that is enormous. Whereas in Corrie, you're set up in a studio, cameras are already there, lighting's already there. You just go in, set's already there. But on Hannah Montana, the movie, that was, you know, sets had to be made. Everything. It was just, it's like going to war, I think you could say. Yeah, honestly, the logistics, because, you know, you had your own power, you had your own, there was full catering 24 hours in the middle of nowhere. It was incredible. And as somebody working on it, you'd say, I'd say like, oh yeah, it's not, the hotel's nice, blah blah blah, but if I'm going to be here for like 3 months, any chance of getting an apartment?
Yeah.
Straight away, you got an apartment.
Wow.
Then it was like, what about, can I get myself around? There's a car.
That's brilliant.
Every chance I can phone Julie home, you know.
Yeah.
Here's the phone.
That's amazing.
You got, and it happened. Like that. It wasn't like here. Any chance of, oh yeah, maybe, I don't know. It's, you know.
Struggling for a coffee.
Correct. Well, the coffee's there. Well, I can remember when our boys came out, we went on set, and there's the main caterers that are just phenomenal, but also running alongside that, there's what they call craft food services, which is basically a fully kitted out catering van that you go and help yourself, and that runs all day. So you can make a sandwich. They've got chiller cabinets full of drinks, coffees, Starbucks, you name it, it's all in there. Sweets, fruit. And I told our George, he was 8 at the time. I said, right, that's if you want anything, just go in there. You can help yourself. It's all right. There's people there. Just tell them who you are. And every time I came back from working, I'd come back and I kind of, like, there was a caravan we were sat in. I said, "Where's George?" He said, "Oh, I don't know. He's gone out looking." And every time I went looking for him, he was in that flipping van, because and he's like, "You're right, Dad," and it's just like, because you couldn't. It's like a free shop.
Yeah.
That you could help yourself.
Can't blame him. I'd be the same.
And running coffee throughout the day.
Wow.
There was a Starbucks barista on set.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Giving you what you want for free.
That's like the dream, isn't it? That's the dream.
Oh, it was phenomenal, and it was Disney. Yeah,
Disney. I've heard a lot of good things about Disney. Would you go back and do more work there?
If I was, yes, but when I did that job, the difficulty was the unions, right? So the American Screen Actors Guild, they will only allow you in to do one job,
right?
On the contract I was on, so I can't go back unless I have a cast iron case to do the job in America. Now, right, okay. The studios will sort that out, and also you need a green card. So right. I was allowed to work for one job only, legally.
Right.
And also, getting a visa was hard as well.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah.
See, I travelled I went to Manchester when I got the job, and I got the visa. I was literally, there was a car waiting, taken to Manchester Airport, and I was off. And I can remember being a bit bamboozled at Manchester Airport because I'm flying first class. I've never done that before. And it was like, where are you going? You know, this person says, "You all right, sir? Can I see your ticket?" Yeah, whatever. "Can I see your passport?" "Yeah, if you want." And as soon as they saw my visa, they went, "Oh my God." I went, "What? Are you working with Hannah Montana?" I said, "How do you know that?" "It's on my visa." It was on my visa.
And that's how big it was. Wow. Wow.
And he said, "Oh, my daughter loves it. Come this way." And I got the treatment through.
Wow.
She opened doors, I tell you.
It sounds like it, yeah. So on a different note, sort of over the last year or so, we've obviously lived in a different world. All the soaps had sort of an extended break, if you can call it that. What's it been like acting in a world with COVID? What challenges has it brought?
But it's been, well, to begin with, we didn't know whether we were going to carry on or not, but we carried on. We managed to, there was a very brief shutdown while they prepared the studio for working. And we were all thinking, "Oh my God, what's going to happen to us," etc., etc. But we carried on, and we carried on in such a way that was COVID safe. When there literally is someone with a 2-meter stick when you're filming, and you're measured, and you're told all the time, "Get back, you know, everyone's wearing masks. You don't, you do your own makeup, which I don't have any, but you know, all the makeup department there, they have to stand back. You do it all yourself. It takes an awful lot longer to film because, like, if you imagine the cabin, when pre-COVID, there'd be electricians, props, camera, lighting, all doing their job at the same time in that cabin. Now it's one at a time, and you stand back and each person goes in, does their job, comes out. If anything, like if you're in the cabin and say part of the set needs moving, you have to come out of the set, stand back to a safe place. Gary goes in, moves the set, comes out again, and you go back in again. And also on when you're filming, you have to be 2 meters apart, no matter what. So they try to make it look sometimes as though you're with camera angles, you can do that, but then it becomes about getting that right rather than getting what you're doing right. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It becomes the problem, which is going to, because that's how we've managed to keep filming. But it becomes a bit frustrating because you generally rooted to the spot because you're 2 meters from that person, 2 meters from that person, or 2 meters from the cameraman who stood just off screen. You know, you can't move, so you just become a talking head. So that's the challenge. And also, we've had to wear masks in scenes, and it makes you breathe.
I've said that.
It makes you breathe differently. It makes you say the lines differently. It's weird, and also sometimes you just can't hear.
Yeah.
You know, somebody else is speaking. Like, it's really frustrating, actually. But we're doing it.
Obviously, lockdown's lifting a bit now, it seems. Are you getting back to being able to a little bit of normality on recording, or is it still very much?
No. There's still a strict protocol. We're still having masks all the time. We're still having 2 meters apart. There's still less staff in. There's still. I mean, they've rewritten everything to have less characters in scenes.
Right.
So, you know, and a lot of over 70s haven't been in, and the younger ones. So it's been hard for them.
So even with sort of the lifting of that, it's been quite the same.
Yeah. I have a feeling, even though the restrictions have lifted, I think for us, the big thing is insurance.
All right. Okay.
I think we have to stick with strict protocols for the insurance.
Right.
Until they change their mind, we'll have to stick with what we've got, because for the rest of the industry, film and telly, they've had terrible trouble trying to start again to get new insurance.
Yeah.
Because we've been going all along. We've kept the insurance we've always had.
Right. Okay.
So
yeah.
We'll carry on insuring you as long as you do this, this, and this. But I think for new productions, that's the problem: insurance.
Right. Yeah. No, I can understand that. And with COVID as well, we've seen sort of stunts or scenes where it requires sort of them being close together. They've been done differently as well. I think there was a scene where someone got hit by a car. It might have even had Gary Windass in it again, to be fair. That's probably why I remember it.
I think it was Gary. You're quite right.
Yeah.
It was.
What's it like? Sort of. I don't know if you've been involved in one of those stunts personally, but what's it like? Sort of watching it. I can assume it'd be odd.
It is a bit odd. I mean, generally, it's to do technically. There's a lot of technical rehearsal that goes on in those things, because they have to be safe, and also they have to make sure the camera angles are right, because it's all about camera angles. Obviously, no one's going to get run over by a car. So what they do is you break the shot down. So you'll see the car zoom through shot. You'll see Gary hit the ground, but the way they edit it and cut it, it will look like the car's hit him. Or they will get a stunt person in, and they will, because there was something I did in the street. It wasn't me. It was somebody running away, and they got hit by a car.
Right. Okay.
The stunt person came in, and that was their thing. So the person driving the car and the stuntman were a team, and they knew what to do, and it was about timing. So I don't know how they did it, because it looked real watching it. That's the weird thing, because you think, flipping it, you've just thrown yourself at that car. But because they know what they're doing and they're padded up, they know how to fall, and they know how an impact will work. I once did a job, right? A film, Ever After, with Drew Barrymore.
Right, yeah.
Out in France. And there was lots of horses in it. And there was a stunt where Drew Barrymore's character, Cinderella, threw an apple at somebody on a horse, a galloping horse, and which knocked them off. Now, the stuntman was Spanish. And what they do is they dig a hole, put a mattress in it, cover it up with earth, and you aim for that sort of rough area. So you soft landing.
Yeah.
He did the shot, missed the hole, right? Fell on hard ground, said he was all right, we'll do it again. Did it again, and then told us the first fall, he broke his left wrist. The second fall, he broke his right wrist.
Wow.
For the rest of the shoot, he walked round with 2 plaster casts and his arms in plaster casts with like things holding him, proud as punch. I know. Can you imagine? You broke his wrist on the first test. I'll do it again.
That's commitment. That is commitment.
You can call it that. I think it's crazy.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
To be a stuntman, there has there often is something missing.
Right.
Because would you throw yourself off a horse, break your wrist, and say, "I'll do it again"?
No, I'd like to think not.
No. Would you throw yourself down a rock-strewn cliff? No.
No, definitely not.
So there's got to be something missing, hasn't there?
Yeah, definitely. The reason we're talking, sorry, it's just my dog. The reason we're talking is obviously because you're presenting the trophy in the Lens 11 versus TV All Stars charity game. What made you want to sort of do that and get involved?
Well, I knew Tony, who approached me. I was at there was a fundraiser at Ewood Park, and Tony got talking to me and said, "You know, do you do different things?" I said, "Yeah, of course, yeah, I'll help if ever I can." And then he mentioned this about Len, and I said yes straight away, because motor neurones disease, I think, is and it's a really what's the best word to describe? It's an evil disease. I think it's a real cruel disease. And in fact, a colleague at work, at Corrie.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
And it was just so heartbreaking to see Jason deal with it, and his family, who were fantastic, who were so supportive. And and as soon as Tony mentioned this about Len, I was like, yeah, of course, I'll help, because, and also the way, because I didn't because I'm not a football, you know, I'm not into football. But when he told me about Len, I searched for him and found more about Len and how he's dealing with it, which I think is it just floors me when somebody's like that deal with it. And you know, if I can help in any way, do what I do, help him with money or whatever for him, yeah, I'm in.
Len's brilliant. I've done I hosted his podcast series last year, and we've worked a lot on it recently. Motor neuron disease is only something that sort of I learned about so at the beginning of last year, but it's such a horrendous disease, but it's so unknown as well. It's crazy to think how many people don't know about it.
I know, it's so unknown, and it is something that I don't know, especially, you know, I put myself in Len's shoes or in Jason's shoes, and each time, you know, I saw Jason, our colleague, or it was their way they dealt with it was just incredible. The way there was no bitterness.
No.
There was no, you know what I mean? I can't. I just feel so frustrated when you see someone suffering, and they do, and it makes me so humble to think that they're dealing with it the way they are.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just it's like they've got the world against them, but they're fighting it. They're fighting it, and it's brilliant.
It is, and it's all up here, isn't it?
That's it. Mental strength, and just to finish off, I'll give the match a shout out. The 18th of July at Bamber Bridge at 2 o'clock. Lens Leven will be facing a team of TV All Stars. I'm sure you might see the odd co-star as well.
I'm sure I saw Alan Halsall on that.
Yes, I've heard he's a bit of a feisty player. I've heard.
Oh yeah, he is. He's fit as Alan. You know, he's proper fit. You know, he sits in the green room doing press ups with Alan.
He's lost some weight as well, hasn't he, since last year or so? He'll be.
He's as fit as a butcher's dog.
He'll be ready.
He will. I mean, he's had his hair done as well. You know, he's had the. You know what I mean? He's had a bit more put on.
No, that's it'd be good to see him playing, and hopefully you know a few more names might get announced nearer the time, and it'll be good to see yourself as well, and all the fans can get tickets. I'll leave all the links in the descriptions here.
I'm looking forward to it myself.